Welcome to Everything But The Kitchen Dink, the podcast where we discuss all things pickleball with your hosts, Rob and Andy.
Welcome back to Everything But The Kitchen Dink. Welcome back, Robert.
Welcome back, Andy.
Listen,
welcome back.
First of all, this is episode 84. That 100 is getting closer, isn't it?
You know what? I've never even thought about it, but it's getting very close. I actually have thoughts about what I'd like to do.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to share?
Well, no, because I need to speak to a few people.
Okay.
But I've got some good ideas.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think about it all the time.
I just hope I'm here. Like, what happens?
Why? Because you're not feeling well.
Yeah, I'm bummed up again. I had a terrible cold this week, which we'll go into.
I'll be amazed if you're here by episode 100.
I've also just eaten a bounty from one of the, what do they call it? Those mixes.
Celebrations.
Yeah.
There's no celebration where bounties come.
It's a taste of paradise.
No. That'd be hell for me.
I really enjoyed it. I've got a Twix and a Snickers lined up here as well, though. So we're good to go. And my cup of tea.
In my house, the bounties are all at the bottom of the bowl.
Well, I'm going to come round to your house.
Fine.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. No, I'll never get rid of you. Anyway, so this is welcome back to episode 84.
84.
If you are new, and we are,
where have you been?
We are getting new
Where
people
have
all
you
the time.
been?
I'm Andy, and this is my brother from another mother.
Yeah, Roberto.
Robert. So welcome and thanks for listening. Thanks for everybody's support. And let's get cracking.
Okay, so quick debrief on the lovely Karen Mitchell, who we had on the last episode.
I listened back myself.
I did as well.
In the car, and
it's a great
she's
listen.
just phenomenal. She really is. And I was almost like welling up.
Doesn't say much, does it? Well
it's just so unbelievable. Like, I know we would love to help Pickleball England.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would, but they don't do it because we don't have the time. However, she just does it. She gives her life to it.
Yeah, she's an amazing lady. And also all the volunteers and people that work with her are just fantastic.
And
so,
if you haven't listened to that,
give it a
listen to
listen.
that. And if you're not from England and you're listening, give that a listen because it gives you an idea what it's like outside of the USA and the struggles.
The struggles we have.
Yes. Speaking of struggles, you've not been well again.
No, I haven't.
You missed some pickleball. You're always ill. Are you taking your vitamins?
Do you know what? I've not had a cold for like 6 months, so I think I'm doing well. Taking vitamins every day. I take
Do you ever get the feeling
vitamin D, magnesium, multivitamin, antihistamine. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, and I think it has helped. But
really,
listen, it's winter. You're going to get a cold now and again, aren't you? So you can still tell I'm a bit snotty. So I missed a bit of pickleball. Well, I actually missed. We had a team event.
Yeah, we'll get on to that.
Which I missed. But
So what are you thinking about what Karen said, the future? And I know you're texting me all the time saying, oh no, another one's opening down south. That was this week.
It's just frustrating for me because I'm just desperate for it to be in the north, especially in Manchester.
And having spoken to Karen and Lee previously, Lee Whitwell, who we did an episode with, I'm more relaxed on it now. I think
it's going to happen.
I think it's going to come. Yes, we're impatient.
Yeah, but I just feel like I'm 50. I don't want to be like 60.
You are 50.
Yeah, that's what I'm
you
saying.
51 yet?
Nearly. I don't want to be 60.
I know. But the fact is, what about the people who are 60 and 70? At least if we've got a facility by the time we're 60, we'll be rocking it.
I'll be rocking in my chair. That's what I'll be doing. Yeah.
Do they still sell rocking chairs? You never see rocking chairs anymore.
I'm getting one.
I'm amazed you've not had one.
And a pipe. And slippers.
You can stick that bounty in your pipe. So I'm very relaxed about that.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I saw news. Well, that's when I got the text from you. Sick of it. That was the text.
Yeah.
Saying that there's, apparently it's the biggest one in Europe that's opening in Surrey, in Farnham in Surrey.
Is it 10 courts?
And it's some paddle courts.
That's interesting. They've got that right because why not have both?
Yeah, I totally agree and get both in. And, some of the paddle players might play both.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's really good. But apparently I read it's the largest one in Europe.
I noticed
which is probably not difficult because it's probably the only one in Europe.
I noticed that the other one, which is the Franklin one, their planning permission has been pushed back again.
Has it?
They only a few days, I think, till the 26th of September. I'm not sure.
Nothing to do with it. Maybe just pushed back.
It may be just pushed back. I'm sure it'll get sorted. But yeah, we'll get there. And as Karen said as well, there are some people looking in Manchester. So hopefully they, if they're listening to this, get in touch with us.
I think the wires have been crossed somewhere, and somewhere along the line it's got back to her that it's us. And all of a sudden, everybody in Manchester thinks something's happening, but I don't think it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Okay. I think something's happening. Anyway.
Yeah, so you've not been well. I'm knackered at the moment. We need, well, I've just, as you know, I've got a puppy.
Yeah, you've got it's pronounced Weimaraner, isn't it?
Weimaraner, yeah.
Weimaraner. It's a big dog.
Now,
and it's only a baby.
I am absolutely exhausted every day.
Yeah.
I didn't want a puppy, but I got railroaded into a puppy.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and I'm just knackered all the time, except when I'm on the pickleball court.
No, you're knackered then as well.
Yeah, but I'm the same level of knackeredness. But that, obviously, since I got one, you've been begging your wife to get one, because only for the reason that you want to call it Pickles.
I do. I had 2 Cocker Spaniels and I lost them both, unfortunately, old age. And I've always had a dog in my life, and I love dogs, and, that unconditional love you get from them. And I've been mithering my missus to get another dog, and it's falling on deaf ears, because I understand where she's coming from. We don't, for the first time, we don't have the responsibility. We don't have, if we want to go away or we want to go out for more than 4 hours, we don't have to rush back. It's a big responsibility, but I do miss the other side of having a dog, and I want to call it Pickles.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know, and I'm sure most people do know, but one of the origin stories of Pickleball was a dog called Pickles.
Yeah.
Who was there and kept running after the ball, and that's why it's called
Pickles Ball. Yeah.
And that's not been disproven.
No, it hasn't.
So
I would love to call my dog Pickles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be so
cool. I wonder,
cool.
If this is like, when babies were being called Brittany in the 90s, and now there's probably loads of babies called Taylor.
Yeah.
Can we get like, yeah. I wonder if anybody's called a dog. Let us know if anybody's called the dog's Pickle. Or was it Pickles?
Pickles.
Well,
right. Pickle or Pickles.
So I think really we need to start a crusade.
But not Piccalilli.
We need to start a crusade. Everybody, if you know Robert's wife, can you get on social media?
Yeah, help me out here.
Hashtag get Robert Pickles.
Get Robert.
Yeah.
There's a couple of breeds.
So we'll keep you updated on this story, because you've not given up, have you?
Oh, I'll never give up. Never give up on a good thing. No, I'll never give up.
That could be our mascot.
I miss having a dog.
That'll be our podcast.
Yeah,
mascot.
I'll take it everywhere.
Yeah,
it can come and watch us play.
Yeah.
And run on the
court.
Torture. In the middle of a point.
Yeah, it's annoying when you have to go and get the ball.
Yeah.
Do you know, speaking of which, I noticed yesterday when we played, literally almost every point a ball was flying across the court.
Yeah.
Why don't we just carry on? Why can't it be? And I thought at the time, why don't we just... Sometimes we just got so sick of it, we carried on.
Health and safety, my friend. If you trip on
a
ball...
no one's tripping on a ball. It's a plastic ball.
You say that, and then someone will trip.
If somebody stands on the ball, it crushes the ball.
Yeah.
The foot is mightier than the ball.
Yeah.
But carry on. Why not? In fact, we carried on.
You can't, because then someone will say, well, that ball put me off.
Yeah, but
you lose the point, and they'll say, the ball put me off.
It's part of the game. However, you do lose the excuse or the opportunity when you're really under the cosh and you're defending and a ball comes and it's like your lifesaver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the one good thing. Anyway, we've digressed a lot.
We're keeping the balls flying on, and we're saying, ball on court.
So I noticed this week that you had new shoes as well. I know you bought new shoes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
when we went to Diadem.
Yeah, I haven't really worn them, but I've been wearing them.
Why? What was you? I mean, you've had them a couple of months now, and you hadn't worn them.
Yeah, because
were you nervous?
Well, the reason being was I suffered badly with my Achilles.
Something else.
Well, we've discussed this in the past, and I ended up getting these inserts in my trainers,
okay,
which have helped. And I was just a bit nervous because they've been really good. And I've had these trainers for a while.
So you didn't really want to let go.
And I didn't really want to let go. But then...
So what made you change your mind?
Well, I thought I'm going to have... The bottom of my other trainer started to come away a bit.
Right, okay.
Like the rubber, the rubber.
Yeah.
So I thought... Right,
like it starts talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, flapping away. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to wear these trainers now. So I did, and they were great.
Okay.
They're great. I've worn them
so
about
what,
3 or 4 times.
The new Diadem Court Burst?
Yeah, Court Burst.
Okay.
They're really good. They're quite high at the back, I think, which does help with your Achilles.
Okay, so you noticed the shoes you were wearing before were not pickleball shoes or tennis?
No, they're just Asics or A6, however you say it.
Weren't they Skechers?
No.
Right, okay.
No.
Because
they're the odd ones that I got. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Did I ever tell you?
Do, and I wasn't sure if it was a superstitious thing.
What, buy odd shoes?
Yeah. Some people do that.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen.
No, I just got them cheap.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
But they're odd shoes. If you look closely, you can see there's different colours.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. They were they've been great.
Okay.
And I still wear them. I'm not done with them yet. So
okay. I know we've touched on shoes a long time ago.
Yeah.
But somebody did say to me on Sunday that they weren't sure, like, what's the difference between badminton shoes and tennis shoes.
Well, they class these as pickleball shoes, but I think they must be very similar.
Because I bought some in America, a pair of Adidas shoes, and they were pickleball shoes. But when I looked them up online, they were down as tennis shoes. But they actually sold them in the store as pickleball.
I think as long as they're all court shoes, you haven't got a problem, or even tennis shoes are probably going to be fine.
So I don't think it matters if you're asking the question, do I get badminton or tennis? It doesn't matter. I think badminton is more for indoor courts, which is what we're used to. But if you're playing indoor, then
to be fair,
it doesn't matter. It's about comfort.
I've not tried these shoes yet on outdoor courts, only indoor. So it'll be interesting.
Well, it'll be another 10 months before you try them on an outdoor court.
Well, it won't, because I'll be playing at the Nationals with them.
Well,
which is an outdoor court.
Okay. It's indoor, but it's an outdoor court.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So yeah, we'll see how they go. I'm breaking them in slowly.
Right.
So
okay, you're happy with them so far?
Yeah.
There was no
no, they feel
pain at the beginning.
No, they feel comfortable.
Okay.
They feel fine.
So they're instantly comfortable.
Yeah, I think I sweat more in them than the other ones.
Yeah, you do sweat a lot.
For a fat lad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's all those bounties.
I've got a Twix and a Snicker here. Here, I'll show you to the camera. If you're watching on YouTube, you can have a look. So let's talk about the team event, which has just happened this weekend.
Right. It wasn't a disaster, but it didn't go to plan.
It wasn't a disaster. I mean,
no, more from the point of view that it was a good opportunity for us to play together. Then obviously you got your cold, and on Thursday you pulled out.
Yeah,
which was disappointing for you as much.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to it,
and it was local, so
yeah. And then,
well, I think you also felt the pressure. This is a nice thing that we do. It's every month. It's a team league around the Northwest. I think there's 32 teams in it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in Division 1, and
we've won it ever since.
We've won it since it started.
Yeah. Which is what, 4 or 5 times?
Maybe 3 or 4,
right? Okay.
Something like that. Yeah,
okay.
Until this time when I wasn't in it.
Yeah,
and then Tracy wasn't.
Well, we had 2 pullouts.
Yeah,
and to be honest, it was fine. I enjoyed it. It was really good. The social side. At least it's not a bounty.
It's a Twix.
It was good. But it always comes back. And people said to me on the day, it always comes back to the rally scoring, which I was actually watching the MLP today.
What do you mean it always comes back to the rally scoring?
When we talk about this tournament, it always comes back to rally scoring.
What, that you don't like it?
I don't like it. Other people don't like it. Yeah. I mean, I did say to 2 other people the other day, everybody hates it. And they said, well, I like it.
Yeah.
But I understand why they do it, but I still don't understand why they do it. And I just felt that I could never get the balance right because you've got to really rein it in. What I don't like about it is you can win points for doing nothing, really. I found most of the points.
Yeah, because if you hit your net on your first serve, it's their point.
I found most of the points. That
if anyone doesn't know what rally scoring is, just explain.
Okay, so rally scoring is the traditional scoring, obviously, where you have to get the serve back and win on your serve. Rally scoring, it doesn't matter who's serving. Whoever wins the point wins the point.
So every point you win, win or lose a point.
Now, traditional rally scoring it is that when you get to if you're playing to 21 as we do, if you get to 19 or 20, you have a freeze and then you have to win your serve. But again, because of time constraints, we don't do that either. So it's great. No one's ever going to get pickled. It does. I did find it kept the games closer. However, if it gets away from you, there's no coming back. You know, how many times have we had a game where we've been 10-2 down? And it's happened quite recently. Been 10-2 down and you get back into the game and the other players start to wobble. And
it's probably,
you can't get that with rally scoring. It's not easier to get back. It's still a hard feat to do, but there's a chance. And in rally scoring, there's no chance.
I mean, my personal view is that I don't like rally scoring. I understand why they do it, and it's for the time to get games.
Yeah, but we played to 21.
Yes.
And if we played to 11, it was an hour each game. Each match was an hour.
Yeah.
With the 4 games, so it could have been that.
It could have, but it could have been also an hour and a half.
To 11,
because it can to and fro for a lot when it's normal scoring.
But it's not pickleball. That's it just isn't pickleball. I don't know whether to, you can't go for your shots in the same way. You can't afford to take the chances.
Do badminton do rally scoring?
Yes,
as well as normal.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So. It is pickleball. It is badminton. It's part of the game. Some people use it.
It's a manufactured. It's like,
I think everyone's got an opinion. I personally don't like it, but other people do. Anyway, that's the format, and it's gender doubles, isn't it? It's men's doubles, ladies doubles, and then 2 mixed games.
Yeah.
So you won the first match.
We won the first match 4-0.
Brilliant.
We lost the second match 3-1, and
you won the third match.
Yeah, but the 2 of them were lost to 17.
Okay.
And that's the thing with rally scoring. It really can go either way. And then we won the next 2 matches.
Okay, so you won 2 out of 3 matches, which is good.
It 3 matches or 4 matches?
It's 3 matches.
3 matches. So we won 2 out of 3. We did well.
Yeah, it's good.
Considering Tracy pulled out as well after the first game.
Yeah, she wasn't well.
It's all going around. Everybody's ill at the moment.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Nothing.
But I enjoyed it. It was a good day.
It is a good day. I
do like the fact that, we were saying for a long time to have tournaments where we could play together. So it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. There was still, I got there early, and before we started, it was the lower divisions.
Right.
And again, it was, I actually thought it's great to see so many people were there having a great time. They were all sort of mostly 60 plus. But you know what? So what? It's still so great that people are turning out in numbers and playing.
Well, it's great for the health as well.
Yeah.
Just to get out and play. And do some
obviously,
exercise.
It's done wonders for your health.
Well, I'm eating chocolate, but and it isn't the first chocolate I've had today.
Yeah. So it made me think, we played some good players, and we played some good players who we should have beaten as well.
Right.
But then I thought, you know what? We are. Tomorrow night we're drilling, but we're finding it's hard. We got there last week and it didn't quite work out with the people who were playing, and we ended up not drilling. So we're probably only drilling once every 2 weeks now, which is still more than we used to. And then I started thinking about the rebound board that's in my back garden.
Have you ever used it?
No.
Never?
Never.
Well, at least I've used mine at least twice.
Yeah, the day you got it.
Yeah.
And the day I got mine. And it made me wonder, first of all, my wife said to me, "Oh, you never use it." And I said, "I know, I wanted it in the house. The whole point was for me to have it in the house. And now it's stuck outside getting wet."
I know.
And I said, "Who's going to use it?"
Yeah.
But so I don't know what to do. Help me. Do I bring it in the house without?
Well, where are you going to put it? Because it's quite a big thing.
Den where the dogs are.
Why don't you put it in your shed? You've got a massive shed. You've got whole space in there.
Yeah, sure. But
that's perfect.
It's full of spiders and it's cold.
Do me a favour. It's perfect for there. Go in your shed for at least 3 minutes a day. Go on your rebound board.
But what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask the question, can it and how can it help us?
Well, let me tell you something. And it's not about a rebound board. It's about drilling. I know people in our circle of pickleball that are actually playing and drilling 3-4 times a week.
Okay, but they're lucky. Not everybody can do that.
No, they are lucky because obviously if you work like you do, you're only got so many evenings that you can do it. And if 2 of those evenings are already taken up playing.
Well, look, we've got 2 evenings playing and 1 evening for the podcast.
Yeah, I know. So it doesn't leave many evenings. So,
we're away this weekend.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Are you looking forward to your trip?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to see ABBA.
Yeah.
The hologram thing.
Yeah.
What's it called? ABBA something.
Journey, is it, or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like ABBA. Mamma mia. Here we go again. Right. So rebound boards, going back to that.
Okay.
I think they're great. I think they're great. I think they're really good for practicing dinking, practicing your hand speed, getting your hand speed up, your reaction time. I think it's really, really good. I think anything you've got at home is so hard to use. For example, I used to have a home gym, right? Which doesn't.
To be fair, you've had everything, haven't you?
Do you think I ever used it? I mean, I started off using it like everybody does, and then you slow down, and then you start.
Like this multi-gym?
Yeah, like a multi-gym. It's like
with a bench and the weights.
You've got a Peloton. How often do you use it?
Well, I'm too busy now.
Well, this is my point. People that have things at home, they find it very difficult to use. That's why people go to a gym, because at least you're paying for something.
It's no more. You're not more motivated when it's in your house.
No, you're less motivated. I think. Yeah. You're more motivated
because it's there. And yes, you're right.
If you're paying for a gym, you're motivated to go. But if you've got it at home, you just, so it's hard. So my recommendation is, unless you've got the space and the time and you're dedicated to using this thing, there's no point. You might as well go and pay 5-6 quid, go and drill.
Okay, but if you're out there and you're thinking, should I get a rebound board?
Then yes, if you're going to use it.
Okay.
I think they're really good.
I think it could be really good.
I agree.
I'm going to start using mine.
Okay, we'll see.
Where's yours?
It's out there getting piss wet through. In fact, the wood's starting to curl on it. It's called a curling board now. Yeah.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not in a good state.
Okay, so it has some major bonuses though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Great for fast hands.
Great for just getting your hand-eye coordination in, and with fast hands, with dinking, with even resets. No, you can speed the ball up and then reset it.
Yeah, so it's great for resets. Yeah. You're not gonna replicate dinking on it, are you?
Yes, you can do dinking, absolutely. I mean, you just dink. I mean, the one I've got, the bottom of it is actually the height of the net. So if I'm dinking just over the net, it's great practice. Also, I mean, you're not going to do things like serves on it, stuff like that. Yeah. But for everything else, I think it's a really good piece of kit. I think
it could also be good. For me, I have trouble sometimes when I hit the net, and I know I've not bent my knees, and I know it could be good for that. Like just the action of
let me know when you've used it.
Okay.
Because
I'm going to. You're right. I'm going to put it in the shed. I'm going to use it.
Do it?
Yeah.
I'll come round and not use it with you.
The neighbours will love me in the shed. But also I've seen these dinking posters. Have you seen those?
Yeah, that you can put on them.
They're a fortune.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can get one printed.
You could probably get if you see those dinking posters out there, don't bother.
No,
don't bother. You can do it yourself.
You just draw on the board.
And I wouldn't even go out and buy a professional board either.
Well, I had mine made.
Yeah, exactly. Go and get it made, and it'll probably be cheaper than those posters. Yeah. There was something like $80, weren't
for a poster?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know. I mean, I wouldn't waste your time unless we get one given to us free, and then we'll endorse it, and it's amazing.
Yeah. No, they are good, and if you can afford one or build one yourself, then only get it if you think you're going to use it.
The answer is yes, it can definitely help.
Yeah.
But it's not going to replicate drilling. It's not instead of drilling.
No, obviously not. It's more for hand speed and eye-hand coordination and stuff like
that.
Okay.
Right, you're going to take over now, because this is where
I've
just been saying to you, when you've been complaining, save it. So the floor is yours. Like, where do you start?
We discussed paddles, didn't we? In paddle confusion.
It's getting worse.
It is.
And last night,
it is getting worse.
Last night it peaked.
Well, last night, I mean, obviously I wasn't feeling great, but
let's dial it back a bit and start with where you're at with your paddles. Let's start from last Thursday.
This is my problem.
Let's start from last Thursday because we used new paddles, both of us, didn't we?
Yeah. So I use the Gearbox Power Pro, and I love the way it sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds like no other paddle. It's like this hollow sound.
It sounds like, well, we mentioned it sounds like the Vice. It sounds like these illegal paddles, but they're not illegal. But it's very murky because some of them that are getting approved are the same spec as the ones that got banned.
Well, this is the whole
and
thing.
Nobody knows what's going on.
The problem is, I mean, this paddle is a phenomenal paddle. The power is just ridiculous. Yet the control on it, it took me probably about a week and a half to dial in with the control.
Right. So this is part we're discussing.
And when I say control, I'm talking about third shots and resets and things like that.
We're going to review this paddle as well, aren't we?
We will at some point.
But you're almost doing your review now, so let's just mix it all in.
The problem that I found still with this paddle, and I used it the other night, and it's great. If someone pops a ball up, there is no way that finishing shot is coming back. You are going to hit that ball, and let me tell you, you do not even need to.
No, I used yours on Sunday, didn't I?
Right.
Do you know what? Go and get the paddle.
No, you do not need to put any power into your swing with this paddle.
Right.
It sort of has this trampoline effect where the ball springs off the paddle almost. Okay. And if the ball pops up and you whack it, you know, that ball's not coming back.
But the one you've got is a 14 mil, isn't it? Is it 14
No,
mil?
it's less than that, I think. Right. I'd have to check. I haven't got the specs.
Okay. So I used a similar one, the newer one, the Gearbox, which is, these are all what they call a Gen 3 paddle.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I know what you're like, and I knew you would say that you're not going to stick with it, are you? Because if you are going to go to this kind of paddle, you need to give it so much time, which is something that you generally don't do. However, I did persuade you, and you did use it a lot. You used it over 2 or 3 sessions, but last night you got fed up, didn't you?
Well, I'm just looking at the specs actually because I wanted to see the thickness of it. Here you go, specifications. Yeah, it's 14 mil. 14. It's 14 mil. It actually looks thinner. It looks really thin.
Yeah, it does. Just explain to anybody that's listening, because we keep mentioning Gen 3. Just explain the emergence of Gen 3 and what they are, because somebody might be saying, I don't understand.
Well, the Gen 3 paddles are basically made differently. For example, I don't know if the Gearbox Power is a Gen 3 paddle, but the Yola, the 3S's they just brought out, and also the Mod TA is a Gen 3 paddle. Also, the Rhombus Ripple, which they're just bringing out again.
Which again,
I saw a video. Someone said it needs to be banned because
it has the specifications as the ones that were banned.
Correct.
It's murky waters, but
it's very basically these paddles. They have foam in them. I don't know how they're actually legal because the ball just flies off these paddles. But going back to the Power Pro and using it, if you can dial in with it, which I did to an extent, and I loved it, and I had some great games with it. And then last night I went and played with it again.
So was last Thursday the first time you used it?
No, I'd used it before that, and then I used it Thursday, and then I used it again Tuesday.
So you really did for you.
I give it a good go. And,
and you were getting somewhere with it.
Yeah, I was, and I love the paddle. But the problem is when you come to the net, and if someone's firing a ball at you, there's no way you're resetting that ball with this paddle. The ball just...
No, but you could finish it with it.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So the ball will spring off the paddle at the net. So if someone fires a ball at you, you get into a hands battle, you're going to struggle. But for third shots and stuff, I dialed it in, which was fine. And finishing shots, that was fine. But it let me down it's not the most forgiving paddle. So if you catch the ball on this paddle near the end or the rim of the paddle, it dies. The ball just dies on it.
Right.
Where if you catch it in the sweet spot, it launches the ball. So it's got.
Did you think about lead tape?
Yeah, I tried lead tape on it.
Did you?
Yeah, it didn't make any difference with this one, where it does with other paddles. And I don't know if that's the way it's made or it just, I don't know. But the paddle itself is a phenomenon. As I said before, it's a fantastic paddle, but it's I'd say it's an advanced paddle. It's an advanced player's paddle.
Here's the thing.
It's not for a beginner. It's not for an intermediate player. It's for an advanced player.
When it comes to, as soon as these paddles started coming out, we all start to think, great, we can start putting away shots and we want that power.
Yeah.
But somebody said to me at the weekend, you don't see many pros using these.
There are pros that use them.
There are pros using them,
but it's not widely used. But the pros you'll use whatever they're sponsored by.
Okay,
you know,
that's fair. But since last night, we had a conversation on the way home.
Yeah.
And I've done a bit more research on it. And how many times have you heard it's not the paddle? How many times have I had I feel like you with the Tuesday nights now, that there's so much going on, and when you're organising the games,
it's difficult.
It's really hard to focus. And I'm changing paddles regularly. And in the end of the night, I'm just saying, it's not the paddle. It's me. But if I'm not playing well, then the paddle is not going to help.
I disagree.
Yes, if somebody pops it up,
I disagree.
I'll put it away.
I still think a certain paddle can help you with things that you don't have. Now, I thought that I've got this power paddle now. I'm going to rip every ball.
Well, that's also the problem.
But I couldn't do it because it's funny. Like when I play people, these bangers, they seem to be able to bang everything at me.
Yeah, but
I wasn't in the
tennis
position.
Players.
But I wasn't in the position to then use this paddle to bang everything. And also, it's not my game. I realised it's not my game.
But you've done some great drops with it.
Yes, I have. And finishing shots are great with it.
But this is the whole point. It's not your game, and you paddle. This is what I'm saying. The technique is so far more important than the paddle. And if you're
some paddles help you use your technique easier than other paddles. As I said, this paddle has a lot of dead spots on the paddle. So if you don't hit it right in the middle, in the sweet spot, you're knackered. It's going to die. And I found that happening quite a lot, especially on the sort of the reset stuff. If I didn't just catch it right, the ball would die.
Okay.
So if I use, for example, the new Selkirk Vanguard Pro, which I've got, and I did the same shot, it will be a lot more forgiving.
Okay, I'm not saying the paddle isn't involved. I'm saying, in my research on this, I've seen a lot of people say it's 85% ability and 15% paddle.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's not the paddle.
Yeah.
However, do you not think skill level comes into it as well? If you're a newbie and you've not got a tennis background, a Gen 3 paddle is not going to help you. In the same way that a professional who plays with a wooden paddle that you would use on the beach would probably still beat.
I agree with that.
4.0 using a Gen 3
and that's why I said that this paddle is not for a beginner or an intermediate.
What did you see?
What?
They were playing with frying pans.
Ben Johns was playing with a frying pan.
Yeah, and he still won.
Yeah. If you're getting into the game of pickleball, buy a basic paddle that's got a big sweet spot, and enjoy it. I think we're too het up and pent up with power and this is the game now. And yes, the power's great, but there's a lot to pickleball. It's not just power.
I think you're being a bit too hard on yourself. I think that paddle suited you, and I think you had a bad night last night and you gave up on it, even though you'd used it for maybe 3 or 4 sessions solely. I think
I'm actually confused myself.
Well,
I am in.
I used which one did I use? I used the newer version of this paddle.
You used the Ultimate, which is the new, which is 16
which
millimeters.
Is 16. Now I used that last Thursday and I loved it. I used yours on Sunday, and I found that honestly, the defensive element of the game,
it does it for
when
you.
You're at the back.
Yeah, it does it for
All
you.
you have to do is get the paddle,
because it launches off the paddle.
People thought I was amazing getting these shots back.
Yeah, but then when you get up to the net, it has the opposite effect.
You get it back, and then there's a possibility that if you get it back enough times, they'll hit the net. But you're never getting it back where they're not getting it, because generally, if you're coming out wide defensively, you're popping it back up, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what was happening is they were either getting another chance to finish it,
correct,
or they were putting it in the net and were winning the point.
Yeah.
So, but it is phenomenal from a defensive point of view. And when I used the 16mm one, I did love it, and I do want one. However, the more comfortable you get with it, the more you start banging it and taking away from what isn't your game, and that's the problem.
Correct. And that's what I was sort of doing in a way, is not playing my game.
You get overconfident with it.
Well, the problem I've got now is, and I'm in a fortunate position, really, we both are, that we get paddles to review, and we can try paddles. So I have to really try paddles for the podcast. So
yes, which adds to the confusion.
Because I try a paddle sometimes, I think, oh, this feels nice, and I think, oh, I'll use this, and then I get another one, and I've got to try that one, and then I think, oh, hang on a minute, and
I don't know. We're coming to the Nationals.
Yeah, and I don't know what paddle I'm using.
I don't know what paddle to use. So if you're in our group, you're doing well.
Yeah.
So last night I decided.
Well, I have another paddle coming.
You have another two coming, don't you?
Yes. Now this is going to be interesting.
Okay, so go on.
So I actually ordered from China the knockoff of the new mod TA. 50,
just explain what the Yola paddle is.
Basically, it's the Yola Gen 3.
First of all, it looks beautiful.
It's pretty much like the ones that got banned.
Right.
In fact, people are saying that inside it's exactly the same.
Yeah, and I'm sure it is.
That the surface is slightly different. So I don't know how it's got past, but it has got past. And I don't like to promote these people like Alibaba and places like that, but they sell pretty much most paddles.
Well, it's more research really that you do.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for research. So I've ordered one. It should be here in a couple of years.
So it's an identical, together with your credit card being hacked.
Yeah. It's an identical to the mod TA. Now I've ordered the mod TA 15 as well.
Right. Okay. So you've ordered the two, which is amazing. So you'll have both.
So I'll have both of them. So I'm going to see, first of all, if it is the same paddle and it's just, being made in China in the same place, or it's being completely different.
Looked into this, and I've seen people who have done what you've done.
Right.
And cut them open.
Yeah, I'm not cutting them open.
Well, you can't sell them after a week if you cut them open. But they've cut them open and they've said, look, they're totally different inside.
Okay.
However, I've seen others that say they play identically well, or it depends who you buy from. Some of them you might buy them and they're from the same factory.
Correct.
Now,
it's a pot luck.
It's
what comes.
Complete lottery.
It might not even come looking the same, for all I know.
For 30 quid.
Well, it was less. It was $30, so
right, okay,
like 25 quid.
Yeah, so you might, if you want to take a punt, you might as well.
Well, wait. Let me give
but
you.
Yes,
wait till I get mine,
and I'll give you an update. I'll use them as well.
Yeah, and I'll give you an update.
Yeah,
but I've heard a lot of good things about the mod TA as a paddle. Now it's another Gen 3 paddle, but it's a 16mm, so it's like your average thickness. It still has that propulsion of a Gen 3 paddle.
Now the propulsion is great from a power point of view if you're finishing, but the idea of the propulsion is it's almost like a trampoline effect.
Correct.
If you imagine the ball goes in.
It's the dwell time on the paddle.
Yes. So which means that it can go further.
Correct.
And that's what you have to control.
Now I'm quite excited to try the mod because if it gives you that balance of control and power, it could be the perfect paddle.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to you on that. But I'm very excited about trying that because if it does, then it could be a winner.
But here's the thing, it's all about finding the right paddle. And last night, I messaged you in the day. We've got a Franklin demo, one of the tour range. So I thought, you know what? I've never used this. It could be amazing.
Yeah.
Now the handle for me is a little bit shorter, but I thought I'll try it. But I got off to a bad start yesterday. It was not a bad start, mixed. And then, of course, when the problem I have now is when I'm leaving for a session, I'm now deciding which 6 paddles.
You've got more paddles than me.
I know. I'm leaving them out, and I'm deciding which to not take.
Well, you're also in the same position as me.
I never thought I'd be in this position.
No, and you are, and you need to sort of nail down a paddle.
So we played, and you're saying to me, I really felt like this paddle, it just didn't give me. I was hitting just standard third shots into the net, and you're looking at me and you're saying, you've got to stick with the paddle. And
yeah, that's me talking.
I know, yeah, I know, but you're right.
But we both do.
And so ultimately, I went back to the Diadem power model.
Yeah.
And then I started playing better. But I probably started playing better. I probably started playing a bit more sensibly. And now I'm saying that's my paddle.
Yeah, I know. You said that at the end of the night.
Yeah. So
we'll stick with it now and use it.
I know a lot of it is about how you feel with that paddle, and I felt good with it.
So use it.
But who knows what the next session is going to bring?
But I think we both have to nail down a paddle in the next two sessions. I do
keep saying to you, you know, I think there was one point last night, and I said to you, that wasn't the paddle. You know, if you hit a shot and it didn't go in, and I said, but that's not the paddle.
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I will probably go back to my Selkirk Power Air because that's the one that I've used for quite a long time.
Yeah.
The other downside to that paddle, and the only downside...
It's like your ex-girlfriend you keep going back to.
Yeah. I've never had an ex-girlfriend. The only thing I noticed with this paddle, because it's a very thin, I think this is the 11 mil, is my elbow hurts when I use it.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to...
But there's ways around that.
Well, maybe.
But yeah, you'd rather not do that.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. Anyway, that's my rant on paddles. Right, it's very confusing. There's paddles coming out all the time.
So our confusion's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's growing. And I don't see an end to it, to be honest.
I just need to find the perfect paddle. And I think it's coming.
Okay, you think this is the one?
I think it could be.
Like every time you change back to Samsung from iPhone and you say, I'm never going back.
So we'll see. I just want to give you the specs of the power, the gearbox, because...
Are we considering that the review?
Yeah, that's the review of it. So it's made from raw carbon fiber, T700, which most paddles these days seem to be made from. It's a patented carbon fiber chamber is the core construction. So really, we don't really know what's in there. I don't know if anyone's actually cut one open. The weight's normally about 8 ounces.
You might be cutting it open off the next
You're
session.
right. The grip's 4 inches. The handle length's 5.5 inches. The paddle length 16.5. And the width is 7 3/8. The thickness is 14 millimeters. And it's USAPA approved.
Okay.
Which
now
is great.
Here's another question based on the paddles.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Let's take us out of the scenario for 1 second, because it's just like Paddle Palooza for us.
Yeah.
How does one know when it's time to get a new paddle? We've never been in the position where, like, we go week in, week out. We go to our session, and there's people using the same paddle over and over again, and I'm almost jealous of them.
Well, it's a very, I am as well. But that's a very,
how do you know?
Difficult question, because you've got to look at quite a few things. You don't know someone's financial state of play, whether they can afford a new paddle. They might have to stick with the one they've got. Let's assume
that that's not the case. And it's time to get a paddle.
If your paddle's chipped, the surface is coming away, the edge guard's coming away, the handle's worn, might be time to get a new paddle. If you're just fed up with your paddle and you want to change, that's also time to get a new paddle. I don't think there's one set thing that says now's the time to get a new paddle. I think it's absolutely up to the person. And I know a lot of people who are like me that love paddles.
There's no one like you.
And never will be again. So,
let me just...
The time is right when you think the time is right.
Let me just sum up this whole paddle thing by saying, when I hit a winner, it's all me. And when I hit a shot that hits the net, it's the paddle.
Yeah.
And that's the way everybody is.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I think it's getting more confusing with the power paddles and the Gen 3 paddles. People are confused. I get people asking me all the time, like, what do you think? Like, which paddle should I?
Yeah.
And I sort of go through...
No one will be asking you now.
Yeah, because I've got quite a lot of experience with it. And I go through a questionnaire with them. In fact, someone that I was selling a paddle to a few weeks ago, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we went on court and we actually narrowed it down.
Yeah.
You know, if people have got the chance to actually play with the paddles for a bit, you know, that helps as well.
Yeah.
Because not everyone gets the chance.
But we worry too much. You know, when I see really good players and they hit it into the net and it happens and we forget and we overanalyze every single shot we miss.
Look, at the end of the day, if you're a top player, it doesn't matter what paddle you use.
Exactly.
And I agree with that.
Exactly. And I think
at our level and people around that level, the paddle can help. So
I agree. But if you, I don't know what it's like for you. For me, a lot of the time it's decision making. That's the difference. And a paddle is not going to change that.
No, it's not. But it could help with the sweet spot and things like that. So I still think, yeah, you're probably right. I know that 85%, 15%. I'd probably say 70-30, but that's me.
Okay, fine. Well, this will rumble on.
Yes, it will. And if anyone's got any thoughts on this, and your thoughts on the Gen 3 paddles, let us know. Give us a DM to all the usual channels. And don't forget, by the way, we are sponsored by the UK Pickleball Shop. So anyone looking for paddles, just use our code EBTKD and you will get a discount on there. I think it's still 10%. It might be even more. So get on there and buy some paddles from the UK Pickleball Shop.
But I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. Okay, so
what's in the news?
Well, I was surprised to find out that next week, there's the Pickleball World Cup. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
A Pickleball World Cup? No, I didn't know that.
In Lima, Peru. 32 teams.
Right.
And this is a big deal.
So have England got a team in
No.
there? Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
No idea. We'll have to ask what happened there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long way to go, but there's 32. There's 32 teams there.
Wow.
And it's weird because if you go on the website, it was a very poor website. It was a one-page website. It had the flags.
Right.
And I'm not that good at geography. So and they were tiny.
Right, okay.
And I couldn't really.
So when they say it's the World Cup, but it's not really the World Cup, is it?
Well, the USA are there.
Okay. But I wonder what team they've sent in, you know.
Well, there's clinics going on. Tyson McGuffin's doing a clinic.
Oh, right, okay.
So they've got big hitters there.
Right, okay. So more than I thought.
They've got referee clinics going on.
Right.
Ron Ponder, who was at the English Open,
great
guy. He's going to be there.
Wow.
So they've got credible names. So I hope this is televised. To Peru? Well, it's next week. I wish I'd have known.
Have you also seen Ben Stiller?
Well, we mentioned this last time, but it's actually
movie. When's it out?
It's actually going to start filming in November.
Oh, it's not even started filming.
No, but they've announced the cast.
Right. Okay.
And it's got some credible names.
Are we in it?
No. We'll be in the sequel.
So go on, who's in it?
So there's the main guy. I've not written down his name. I can't.
Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah, she was in. I've seen her.
Ed Harris.
She's been
Andy
Ed
Roddick.
Harris. You know who Ed Harris is?
No.
He was. Did you ever see the Truman Show?
Oh yeah.
He was the guy in the control room. He's been in tons of stuff.
And Andy Roddick.
Well, Andy Roddick.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see it. You know, any publicity. For
I'm worried it's going to be a bit embarrassing.
It might be, but you know what? It's publicity.
So just to add to that, basically the synopsis is it's a washed-up tennis player
who goes to Pickleball,
who is going to save a club in crisis,
right,
and win his father's respect. I mean, this has never been done before, has it? And he's going to break the vow and do the one thing he would never do
and play pickleball.
I mean, it's sort of it's feeding into a stereotype. Funnily enough, I saw when I was doing some research, I saw this post on a tennis forum, and it was somebody having a go at pickleball, and the comments again from other tennis players against. Really? I mean, it was so venomous.
Wow,
it was unbelievable. But anyway, so I'm a bit worried about this movie. So I guess it'll be out next year.
Yeah, we'll worry about it when it comes out.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that everything?
Well, yeah, I think we've come to the end. We still don't know what paddle we're using.
No, but I'm excited to give an update.
Okay, so by this time next week, you'll have 2 new paddles.
I just hope I'm not taking 12 paddles to the Nationals with me. That's all.
Well, it's local. You can nip home and get another one.
I'm making a decision this week on what I'm going to be using.
It's going to change. It always changes every week.
No, it can't. I've got to get dialed in with the paddle I'm using.
Well, I know which one I'm using.
Right, good.
And we'll have a good session tomorrow night.
Okay.
And don't
Problem
forget,
is that the mod T8 is not even here yet, so I can't even...
Well, you've ordered it. It should be here tomorrow now.
Well, don't know UK Pickleball Shop. Get your finger out.
Oh, they're not sending it with every.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
All the socials.
Yeah.
You know, like us, rate us.
We've got stuff on YouTube now. We've got stuff on TikTok.
It's ebtkd.podcast.
Tell your friends, review us. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it this week, and we'll be back soon with some very, very interesting guests.
Have a great week.
Take care.